today we're talking about Bitcoin big picture. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Bitcoin just took a major dip. We went from $10,000, where we were just yesterday, topping out, all the way just an hour ago, about a couple hours ago, to $9,000. And since then, we're up at about 9,200. This is a volatile moment right now, so we could go lower, we could go higher. You'll have to tell me where the price of Bitcoin is when you watch this video. I see this as a major buying opportunity. Maybe some of you see it as bearish. I don't. To me, the big picture, the asymmetrical opportunity that is Bitcoin is too great. And basically, in this video, I want to lay out different scenarios to you today. So basically, in this video, I'm going to present two different scenarios as to where I think Bitcoin's price will be going in to the end of the year. I'm going to make an end of the year price prediction. That's this white line, white vertical line right here. And then I'm going to present two different scenarios as to where I think the price of Bitcoin will be at the cycle top. So that's either the green or the red line. And then after that, I'm going to give my opinion as to why I think after the cycle top, Bitcoin will be deemed as mainstream, never really having a huge bear market, causing Bitcoin to then top out much earlier in the cycle, in the following cycle, which is the yellow right here. Then after that, causing an extended bear market, which is the purple. So overall, my thesis is that this cycle, we are still very early for Bitcoin. Nobody realizes the buying opportunity that Bitcoin is right now, and that if you buy Bitcoin today, right now 9,200, you are still very early considering where the price could go in the long run. And to go further, if you own just 2 Bitcoin today, maybe even one, but if you own just 2 Bitcoin today, you could be a millionaire in 5 years. So everybody, right now, like the video, support the channel, subscribe if you're new. We drop content like this on a daily basis. And let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off talking about where I could see Bitcoin being at the end of the year, and then we'll get into the even bigger picture. And I want to talk about, why we're so early and why, the upside opportunity for Bitcoin is so great. Because I think a lot of people don't realize what I'm going to bring up when I get to the more bigger picture stuff. But anyways, so you can see that right now I have either of these scenarios starting at basically the cluster of resistance that Bitcoin is trying to break at the moment. So this dip, this $1,000 dip that we had today, barely showing up on the weekly chart, but it could be the start of something much lower. And if it is the start of something much lower, that would mean that we have yet to break this resistance that has been plaguing us for years now. And we could, it's possible, even go down to the lower part of this wedge. Bitcoin could even wick to 5,500 in this particular scenario. Now, maybe we did clear this resistance here, and we have yet to realize that yet, and maybe we'd see something similar to, if I zoom out right here, what we saw in the past, where it's just weeks and weeks and months of not a lot happening. Let's just cut to the chase. If we did clear this resistance and the green scenario plays out, that would mean a lot of consolidation, not a lot of volatility, and I could see Bitcoin breaking all-time highs going into the end of the year, possibly being at 26,000, 25,000. That would be extremely bullish in my opinion. The other scenario is that we haven't cleared this resistance, and Bitcoin dips down to around 6,800, 7,000. Everybody buys the dip, thinks things are going great, but then Bitcoin keeps going lower. The maximum amount of pain, the maximum amount of suffering, the maximum amount of boredom. This is where smart money gets in. But then by the end of the year, we basically are around $14,000, just getting ready to break $14,000, except unlike the last time, we've had a lot of consolidation and a lot of price history, and it's a much more bullish setup. Okay, so this brings me to the point of the video. The point of the video is that this cycle that we are in right now is basically the start of the first mainstream Bitcoin cycle. Now you might think, well, 2017 was the first mainstream cycle. But in my opinion, that was really the first mainstream, altcoin cycle or just speculation cycle, because nobody knew what they were buying. not even Bitcoin. People didn't understand what they were buying with Bitcoin, let alone the thousands of altcoins and what they actually were. So this is the first cycle where the problems in the world are so great, problems that Bitcoin can fix, and the fact that the awareness and understanding of what Bitcoin is greater, combined with the fact that there is so much plumbing and infrastructure and on-ramps, making this the first mainstream Bitcoin cycle. So really, I could see us topping out at the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. It could anywhere above $100,000. It could go to $450,000, which is the green. It could go to $250,000, which is the red. But beyond that, unlike every cycle before, where we've had these major 80-90% corrections after it tops out, what I'm postulating today is that sometime in the next few years, something's going to click with everybody, and everybody's going to realize just how scarce, the implications of just how scarce Bitcoin is, leading to the fact that we won't see an 80 or 90% correction after Bitcoin tops out. And many people will think this is maybe a continuation of the bull cycle, the same cycle, even though it will be a different one in my opinion. But basically, because you know how it is when you get to the top, if Bitcoin's topping at $20,000, everybody says, hey, $100,000 is the goal, $1 million is the goal. And with price action like this, people will say this is truly, citadel level awareness, acceptance, and adoption, leading to Bitcoin to top out at a very early part of the next cycle. So not 3-4 years in, topping out a little earlier, $500,000, $1 million, something like that. And because it gets to that price level so early, everybody's going to say, well, much more higher price action is ahead, but ultimately that will lead to an extended bear market. And here's what you got to think about too. The risk versus reward that Bitcoin has right now has never been more inviting, in my opinion. Now, you might say, hey, buying Bitcoin 5-10 years ago, much better opportunity then. I wish I could have bought Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. I would have bought so much Bitcoin. Let me tell you something. No, you wouldn't have. The infrastructure was terrible. There was one exchange up until 2014. There was no exchanges in the beginning. You couldn't have bought Bitcoin in the beginning if you tried, only mined it. Again, you might think that, oh, I got into Bitcoin too late. Everybody already got into Bitcoin before me. Let me tell you something. Nobody's involved in Bitcoin right now. Most people, 98% of people in the world, can't articulate its value proposition, don't know why it's still here, don't know any properties about it. This is the first cycle, basically, where the risk-reward is at possibly the best, where we can see that it's definitely not as risky as buying back here, but the reward and the fact that, there's just too many people who can buy Bitcoin, who could get value. What I'm trying to say is that there are just too many people across the globe who could actually benefit from buying Bitcoin today. Benefit, let alone the amount of people across the globe who are probably willing to speculate on an asset that has such asymmetrical upside potential. And with all the plumbing that's been going on, with all the infrastructure being built out and on-ramps, we're in a unique cycle where many people are going to think about Bitcoin, how it acted in the first decade. And in this coming decade, I think people's minds are going to switch, just like they switched between 1995 with the internet, where half the people didn't think the internet was going to be anything, cut to, within the next decade later, getting into 2000, 2005, everybody pretty much realized, oh, okay, this internet's going to be here a while. And that's what we're going to see happen with Bitcoin. And that's why I wanted to make this video today. So please let me know your thoughts, comment below. I'm going to rely on you guys. If there's something that a lot of people are probably going to have questions, if there's something that you can help me articulate, let's help each other out in the comments. The old dogs need to help the newbies, right? And yeah, everybody make sure you like the video.